Chernobyl.
We know about these microbes. We've been known about them for a while now. We know some of the things that they do, but we don't really know how to change your microbiome. And there are people that are trying. We've been trying fecal transplant. Ubiota's trying, drugs and things like that. But the reality is that I'm not sure that you can necessarily change your microbiome overnight just by taking a tablet. We know from probiotics that doesn't work. A probiotic is only ever in your body for as long as you're taking the probiotic. It's soon lost. But
it doesn't culture and develop and that sort of thing?
No, that's one of the greatest myths about probiotics.
Interesting.
It's that you have this idea that you go to the dairy section of the supermarket and you're picking up all this like functional food and you think, I'm going to colonize my intestines with all of this amazing yogurt and all these yogurt microbes. In reality, that's not what happens at all. And even the best probiotics in the world, the ones which are actually clinically trialed, you're not going to see any real colonization. So those microbes pass through you. They might get into the colon, and as they're passing through the colon, for example, they might interact with some of the microbes that are there, and they might they might allow some changes as a result of that, but they don't colonize. And I think I shouldn't say ever, because there are some instances, especially in people who have disarranged or imbalanced microbiomes to begin with, where you can see certain probiotics hanging around for a short period of time after they've been taken. But again, the likelihood of them staying for a long period of time is very, very low.
That's big. That's big, Emma, because there's so many people who use probiotics, right? Like, and that was going to be one of my questions, especially when we talk about the influence of antibiotics. Is like, is there a use of? Is there any benefits of using probiotics? So I guess then the broad question is do you see a case for people using probiotics then?
I feel very mixed about this, because I think that probiotics do have a place in medicine. But I think they're overhyped, and I'll tell you why. I think part of the problem is the way that they're marketed. So they're food supplements; they're not drugs. And so, to be honest, and be blunt about it, a lot of the companies that make probiotics make up stuff that, in terms of the benefits that they may have, that are not actually rooted in any science whatsoever, and they get away with it because they're not held to the same regulatory framework that a drug would be. So that's one issue. So the first issue is unscrupulous probiotic producers. And there are so many of them, it's so difficult to count. And that's such a shame, because there are, amongst all of the probiotics available, some good ones. But to the average consumer, it's very difficult to figure out what's good and what's snake oil. There is a fabulous website, and I plug this as much as I can, whenever I can, developed by a colleague of mine originally, but also now there's some input from gastroenterologists, so it's actually rooted in medicine. And I can never remember what the website is called, but if you do a Google search for Canada's Guide to Probiotics, it will take you right there. And that will give you some information on those probiotics, and there are only a handful of them that have had clinical trials carried out on them that have actually any clinical benefit. Now, that I believe, when the science shows you that there is an effect, I believe it. If the study is being done correctly, I believe it.